Hello everyone, it's Stone and thanks for joining me here today. Student forbearance is over. That's it. In 2020, the government gave individuals that have student loans the opportunity to be in forbearance. Basically, individuals that haven't been paying the loans back are going to be getting those bills in the mail. This is going to cause a problem for a lot of people if you haven't been paying. Hopefully, you are someone who have been paying these bills during the forbearance period, because this is actually the best time to pay it because the interest wasn't being accrued. So if you were paying your school loan for the last 3 years, right, you'll be in very good standing right now because you have a lower amount that you have to pay back right now, and the interest would have stayed the same. So this was actually, the last 3 years was actually your best opportunity that you had so far to pay off your student loans. According to the Education Data Initiative website, as of August 20th, there's 1.766 trillion students that have loan debt, or individuals that have student loan debt. That's a lot of people. That's over 40 million Americans that have student loans that need to get paid. This is going to affect a lot of people. If you're one of them individuals that had the opportunity for the last 3 years to pay these particular loans and you haven't because you're purchasing other things, i.e. vehicles, because you had a little bit of extra income, you thought, okay, you're gonna get some kind of loan forgiveness. So you use that money to buy other things instead. Well, now is a time that you're gonna have to buckle down and probably switch around how you've been paying for stuff and what you've been purchasing for the last 3 years, because these bills are definitely coming. And the unfortunate or fortunate thing about it is that these loans are given by the federal government. As a result of that, you cannot get these loans in bankruptcy, right? You can't file for bankruptcy on a loan. If you took out a private loan, you probably can. It's a lot of red tape. However, federally backed loans is a little bit more difficult. I mean, if you have a challenging life situation, i.e. almost dying or something, then in some situations it can be forgiven if you work for the federal government, or if you work at a job where if you work for them a certain amount of time, they will forgive those particular loans. Yes, in those cases, sometimes those loans are paid off in those ways, but for the majority of people, that won't be happening. One of the biggest reasons why that won't be happening is because federal student loans are backed by the federal government. Private loans are not. When these loans were originally drafted, they weren't backed by the federal government. But the federal government thought that maybe people would start to not pay back their loans. Say somebody will go to school, take out the loans, go to school, right? And then all of a sudden they say, all right, I can't pay this back. I'm gonna file for bankruptcy, and then they'll lose all this money. So that's when the federal government came into the fold and say, you know what, we're gonna back these loans. And that's not the only reason. There was good intentions, right? They wanted for individuals to be able to, that couldn't afford to go to school, to get a chance to go to school, i.e. people who weren't making as much money financially, give them a head start in life by giving them by backing these loans so individuals could take out these loans and go to school. As a result of the student loans being backed by the federal government, schools saw this and said, I'm gonna just increase the prices of the classes because the loans are backed by the federal government anyway. It's guaranteed money. We're gonna make our money. I mean, what would you do in a situation like this? Of course, if the government is backing a loan, you're gonna just increase your prices. As a result of that, we've had a lot of nonsense classes that are in college, and to be frank with you, it's ridiculous, right? People are graduating with degrees that can't even help them in life, right? Some people are graduating with degrees that there's not even jobs for, right? So we got to be careful about what it is that we're taking out these loans to do. I think that this is going to cause a lot of problems within the economy because people's whole spending habits are going to change. Everything is going up. We're going through a big inflationary period right now where, I mean, you could just go to the supermarket. A gallon of milk isn't what it costed in 2020, right? And many people didn't get a raise to offset those costs. So if you're gonna have to learn to budget, you're gonna have to learn to budget and put all this expenses into your monthly or weekly budget and figure out how you're gonna pay this. Because some of these school loans are gonna be, I mean, range from what, $80 a month all the way up to $300, maybe even more, depending on how much money was taken while going to school, how much loan or debt that the person is repaying. The government is not serious about giving anybody any kind of debt forgiveness. Just think about this for a second. If the government was really serious about loan forgiveness, they would stop backing these loans, right? That would make sense. And if they were supposed to do that, the cost of the education would decrease. Politicians are well aware, especially Biden, they're well aware, okay, that they're not going to get rid of these loans because they know that if they're supposed to get rid of these loans, it'll be catastrophic. First of all, the taxpayers will be pissed off. The people who paid off their loan already, they'll be very upset that they paid off their loans and now they have to supplement somebody else's loan by higher taxes, right? And those people will probably never vote for the politicians again. A politician's job is just to get reelected. So they're going to tell you whatever it is that they want to tell you in order for you to continue to vote for them. And until you realize that, you're going to be in these situations where you're working on a promise, right? You're saying, all right, if I'm just going to wait. Don't wait to pay your bills. You are the one who accumulated it. You decided to go to school for whatever career or whatever it is that you took out loans for. So you owe it to yourself and whoever it is that you took out these loans from to pay your loan. It's your responsibility. It's a part of being an adult. It's a part of being an adult to be fiscally responsible. Unfortunately, a lot of people didn't learn these things in school or maybe from our parents because a lot of our parents probably didn't know about financial literacy. But you have to be responsible for your money. After 17, 18 years old, you're taking out loans, you are responsible for your loans. Maybe the schools should be the ones to say, all right, you know what, we charge all this money, we're gonna slash these prices in half, what do you call it, a fire sale or something, and decrease individuals' payments, or whatever the case might be, decrease their loan amounts. The amount of money that they're charging to go to school, especially the classes that they're given, it doesn't make sense. It's just a way of keeping you on this wheel of going to school. A lot of these classes are made, right, just to justify how much money they're charging. The classes are really not even needed because many of these classes, you already did it in high school and passed, right? I could see if there's a situation where somebody has failed these classes, or whatever the case might be, and need to take these classes again. Yeah, of course. Maybe you should take these classes again, right? But that's not the case. Let's think about the things that can possibly happen from government stop backing these loans. Colleges would automatically become less expensive, right? Because now they'd have to be vying for you to come to the school. The reason why it's so expensive is because there's so much people that's going because they have the loans, right? That they can charge whatever it is that they choose to charge because you're going to pay it. because of the loans. But take that away, a lot of colleges would probably fail. Colleges would be failing from left to right. There'll be less of these institutions, and if they want to stay open, they'll have to reduce the price of what they charge for you to come to the school. Maybe colleges would be way more serious about educating our children if that was supposed to happen, because now you would have to have classes that make sense. There'll be an end to pointless degrees. This is just a little bit of wisdom for you. You may not realize that paying off this bill is supremely important, because you're not at the age, or you're not at the place where you're going to start making big purchases, i.e. cars, homes, whatever the case might be, big purchases, right? Once you start to make big purchases, you're going to realize how much these loans matter, because they're going to haunt you for the rest of your life until you pay for it, right? Because you go to buy something, you put your information, because let's just say you don't have the cash to just go and put $30,000, $40,000 in a vehicle or whatever the case might be, right? Or a home. The first thing when they run your credit, if you choose to buy things with credit, right, which I would say try not to do that, but that's a whole different topic. But let's just say you're in a position where you need to take out a loan to make a big purchase. The first thing they're going to check is your debt to income ratio, because this is a federally given back loan. It's always going to be on your report. Just as there's positives that we talked about, there's also negatives. Negative meaning it's the federal government. They have your information. They can just garnish your checks, right? They could garnish your wages, right? If you get any lottery winnings or anything like that, they can garnish it. You don't want those kind of things to happen. So a little bit of a time. It's your responsibility to pay back your loan. Just pay it back. The faster you pay it back is the faster you can get the federal government out of your affairs and start to live your life and do the things that you want to do with the income that you're making. There's nothing better than working and earning an income, and all of it is yours, except for taxes that you have to pay, because we all got to pay taxes. How should I say? I think it's a morals and values dilemma, right? Not a dilemma, but morally, you should pay back the things that you borrow, right? It just makes sense. You would not like to be in a position where, let's just say your friend was supposed to borrow some money from you, or somebody borrowed some money from you, and then they didn't return the money, right? You'd be pissed off about it. That person probably wouldn't even be your friend anymore. So look at the federal government for the meantime as your friend that you borrowed money from, to help you to get something that would help you out for the future, right? And another thing, individuals that might be watching this that haven't gone to college yet, make sure you specialize in something that a lot of people can't do, right? That way, you will have the best opportunity of getting paid a livable wage, or earning a livable wage. People work on incentives. There's some people that will never be able to go to college, and as unfortunate as that might be, it's just the way life is. All right. If we get rid of the federal loans, that's just some of the drawbacks that's going to happen. But there's technical schools, there's vocational schools, there's YouTube, for Christ's sakes. People are gonna, you could learn something in a book or online that you might not necessarily need a degree for, that pays very well. All right. If you become a mason or a plumber, you don't necessarily need a degree for that. I mean, that might be things that people know, but there's other things also that you can do. You can start your own business, right? So yes, federal loans could be good, right? It started off with good intentions, but we can see the consequences of what has happened due to people taking out federal loans. And this is gonna, we could just watch for a couple of months what's gonna happen. I mean, if you go outside right now, you see a lot of these cars that have the thing on the wheels, so they can't move them. People can't afford it, right? People are getting their cars repoed impounded, right? Yeah, we have a lot of jobs and unemployment is down right now, but how much are these jobs paying people, right? A lot of people can't even afford the lifestyles that they live in. All I'm saying is pay the loans as soon as possible. If you gotta have 3 jobs, 2 jobs, whatever the case might be, start something for yourself, but make sure you pay these things off. That way your life can be exponentially better, because the finances that you're earning, the money that you're earning will be yours to spend and save the way you would like for that to happen, not how the government or whatever other entities that you might owe or in being indebted to, right, wants you to live because you have to pay them back. That's it for me. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. Peace.